Hello, I'm Greg McKinney. I'm doing a presentation on Team Foundation Server. What you first need to do is you need to go and get yourself a copy of the Team Foundation Server. I've used Team Foundation Server Express 2013 for the purposes of this class and this demonstration. You'll have to install it, and once the first installer is done, yes, I said first installer because the first installer merely creates links to a administration console which allows you to install either the Team Foundation's application server and or just the Team Foundation build service. Now, if you want to run the build service on your own machine, that's fine, but it's typically installed on enterprise servers for large projects so that they can be dedicated to compiling the project. So we started our TFS install. We just stepped through all of this, and it's really just a bunch of click next, verify, finish. If you have a problem with it installing, it's usually a SQL related problem, and if that's the case, then that can be really tedious to overcome. Okay, so I recommend that if you do get this installed, do not uninstall it unless you are certain you will never use it again, because you will run into a problem with SQL when you try to reinstall it. So what you'll have to do after it gets installed, you can, like I say, you can install the build service on here, but you don't really have to. It's another self-explanatory wizard that does everything for you. And what you'll have to do after it is installed is you will have to create yourself a team project. It actually comes with a default project, which is the only one that you have access through when you go to Visual Studio Online. But you can have yourself a collection on your local machine if you want, just to keep things separate from other things. You'll get to specify different source controls. The Team Foundation has their own version of get, essentially. And you, like I say, you create yourself a new collection. You just add in a descriptive name, whatever you want. Tell it what it is if you want to. Let it know what SQL you're using. And then you can go to it. You need to use Visual Studio to actually connect to it. So we'll get to that right here. Inside Visual Studio, you'll go to View, Team Explorer, and it'll pop up the Team Explorer right over your Solution Explorer. And you'll want to connect, and you can, since this is your first time, presumably, you're going to click on the Sign Up. And when you sign up, it takes you to this website, and you sign in and you create yourself a unique URL, and now you've got yourself an account. And then you'll want to add a project to it. You'll want to add users to it. And with an ad, it's easiest to use the person's email address. Unless you already have them currently in other projects, then it might be easy to just add them by their name. But typically the first time you have to use the email address. You add them in, and you can connect to projects that already exist from someone else if they've added you. and you will have to go in and you will have to connect to their server. So you will need to know their visualstudio.com address. And here you just select it if it's already been connected, or if you haven't, you click add and you type it into the name or URL foundation server up in the top, and it will actually add the HTTPS down in the bottom box. And once you've done that, it will verify whether or not you can actually connect to it, and if you can, then you can choose which one of the team projects in that collection that you want to connect to. Okay, so now you need to actually, yeah, you do. Alright, now that you've got it all installed, let's make sure that we can actually connect to it. So, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to open up our Visual Studio. With Visual Studio open, okay, hold on, let's go ahead and disconnect so that I can show you the whole process here. Go on here, go to Team, connect to Team Foundation Server. It pops up with a window here. Normally, if it's your first time, it's going to have a sign up. Since I don't need to sign up, I'm going to go ahead and set up with a new email address so that I can step it through. Okay. Go ahead and remember that for right now. And you just create yourself a go ahead and continue, and it's that easy. Now you go up here and you want to go ahead and you click on your account settings and you click on the Visual Studio profile, and there we have it. That is the account that you have to connect your TFS to. And here you actually get to create your first one. We're going to choose TFS instead of Git, and just for the heck of it, we'll throw on Agile. And it's going to create our project soon. Okay, there we are. We have our project. Now we got a question. Who can actually access it? Well, you go back up to Visual Studio Online here and you click on Users, or you can go back here and click on the project itself, and over on the far right hand side, I guess you can't see it, you click on Manage right here, and you can click Add, and I forgot what Claire's was. Okay, Clara's isn't going to work right now. But as you can see, I was able to add Aaron. So there, Aaron is added. And we can go back. We don't need this open anymore. We can go back to Team Explorer, select Team Project, and well, let's take a look at that really quick one more time. Go My Information, and this is what you need. TFS demo account.visualstudio.com. And we click Add, and TFS demo. No, wait, is that demo account or demo server? Demo account. And see, it auto completed it down here. And click OK. And as long as you have permissions, you will get allowed to do this. It's already put it in my list, but I wanted to show you how to put that in. Okay. Now we click it, and we only have the one project in the collection currently. And we just go ahead and connect. And next it will want you to configure your workspace. Unless you really have a specific place you want to put it, or you have your user is on a hard drive with limited amount of space, like a solid state drive, then you can just map and get it. If you are on a smaller drive or running out of space on your drive, you'll want to browse through and select a different location. And it will map it, and now you can go up and you create yourself a new project, and for it to go into your collection, you will want to check mark the add to source control. Now, this is just and we'll do all the quick easy things here. You don't need to host it in the cloud. You can, if you want to go ahead and get that all set up, you can check mark that box, but you can always come back and add it in later, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so we're creating our project. It'll go ahead and do the normal creation, and then we get this box, and this is where it will want you to choose where to put it. And because there is only the one created, there's not one to choose from. You'll see if you use this a bunch, there will be a bunch of different folders in here, and you'll be like, okay, which one do I want to put it in? And well, now that it did that, it wants your workspace again. Well, that's already easy because it already mapped to a workspace. This is just a subfolder, so you can tell it that. Okay, and now back to your Solution Explorer, and away we go. As you see, it worked right. Now, if you make a change, let's see, let's go ahead and just throw it into. Yeah, let's make a quick change here. See, we made ourselves a change, and we wanted to save it. Actually, where is, yeah, right down here. There's my TFS. Okay, so you made yourself a change. You want to go back to Team Explorer, and you go to Pending Changes. And here, you just check it in. And it always starts at some arbitrary number, higher than 1 but less than 10. Normally it's around 7 or 8. This time it was at 5. For this, we can show how to reconnect to it. Okay, go into a Visual Studio. Say you have multiple accounts that guide you. Let's say we want to work on a different project. Okay, so we go in, and in our Team Explorer, you click this little thing that looks like a plug-in, and then you click on Select Team Projects, and you pull down your drop down, and you select that, and you connect. And you go to your Source Controller, Source Control Explorer, and you get latest version. Make sure you're all up to date. And then you double click on your SLN, and you're in it. And then, like I say, if you made a bunch of changes and you need to go back, but you haven't actually saved it yet, so you can just go down to Undo Pending Changes. It'll bring up this, and you just wait. Where would okay, I only did one change. That's okay. That was to the project and that specific file. And you just click yes, and it rolls back to what you had before. But if you've been making a lot of changes and you've actually checked it in, then you'll want to go back to Source Controller and go down to Advanced and get a specific version or the latest version. The previous version may be the one that you wanted, or you may need to go back a lot further. So you can either choose by date, change set, or a specific label that you put on it, or the workspace that you were in. So find, and yeah, you can pick one and you can go to it. I'm not going to because I don't want to risk messing up something that Aaron is working on right now. Like I said, it's supposed to do source control, but there are risks when you don't actually click on the folder and lock it, which I don't see right now. Maybe it's because I haven't changed. There we go. You can check it out and check it in. See, it's locked because it's checked out. And then we can check it back in. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.